If you're a real estate agent and you're tired of cold calling, door knocking, and spending money on ads, then subscribe to this podcast. We discuss leveraging the power of YouTube for your real estate business and how these strategies earned us over $1 million in GCI our first year in real estate. My name is Levi Lascsak and my partner is Travis Plumb. Let's get started.
All right, well, let's get started. This is YouTube for real estate, and we are discussing the massive update with YouTube Shorts today. Big time. Now, here's the deal. If you listen to our podcast, and if you don't, make sure you can actually find it on the link above at our website. You can find it, but also on Apple, iTunes, Spotify. I don't know. We're everywhere, right, Chrissy? Are we? We got that podcast everywhere. Whatever your podcast listening preference is, should be. We are everywhere. We're everywhere. All right, all the places, all the time. So, a couple of weeks ago, we did an episode on YouTube Shorts, and I left off that episode a little torn. So, a little bit of the backstory, which was, and first of all, let me welcome officially my trusty sidekick and co-host, the Wizard of Oz, Chrissy Owens. How are you today?
Doing awesome. All
right. And also, my sporadic and spontaneous co-host, some of the times, Mr. Matt LaMarche. How are you?
Sometimes, at best. Yeah, we're getting better. At the end of the year, a little more consistent.
It's all right, man. There's no obligation here, and I know people that show up here live to the recording is really awesome, and I know everyone's got busy lives, and real estate happens, and life happens, and health happens, and the next thing you know, nothing happens, right? No. So, anyways, I left off that podcast a couple of weeks ago because YouTube had done this massive update on Shorts, but they had not completed the massive update, which I had heard the rumblings of it, but I wasn't quite sure if it was really going to happen because I was going to be a little bit excited about it. So, what happened, what we left off a couple of weeks ago, and I'll just give a little bit of the backstory quickly for those that don't know, but we experimented with Shorts on the channel last year whenever they first came out. When they first came out, it was a wild, wild west of Shorts. I went on several rooms and had discussions with creators and YouTubers and influencers and everybody had an absolutely different opinion on how to take advantage of the Shorts at the time. So I just said, finally after all that, all the research, it comes down to just experimenting, right? I mean, that's ultimately what we all have to do on all of our channels is experiment. What I do believe is that not one thing is going to make or break your channel. I've experimented with a lot of things. Now, maybe I didn't get as many views as I thought I would or would have liked to see, or other things I've done that I wasn't expecting to get a ton of views and it did. So even I just always go into the process with some goals in mind, not necessarily expectations, but goals in mind of what I would like to happen or what I think may happen, but at the same time, I don't have a expectation as far as getting disappointed. I have been overexcited, but, and I've tried several different things. One thing I tried was posting 3 videos at once. Whenever we had a vlog tour, a map tour, and a pros and cons on one neighborhood, I just thought, what if we released all 3 at the same time on the same day? What would happen? And sure enough, not a great move. Now, all those videos were backed up by search, and they eventually prevailed, but it literally killed 2 of them. One of them did well, and again, it was just something that I had heard the stat that when Netflix releases a new series, that it's like 75% of people will binge watch that within 2 days, the entire series, which I thought was fascinating. And I thought, okay, well, what if we released a whole series about a suburb on YouTube? And it didn't really play out the same way that it plays out on Netflix. Now, maybe that's because there's seasons. Maybe if we actually had seasons on YouTube, which that could be something you could consider on your channel as well. If you're worried about getting burnt out or coming up with content, I mean, what if you did seasons? What if you published? I don't necessarily recommend that. I think you have to have a very strategic plan associated with that and structure it quite a bit like a TV show. which I think would also involve a higher level of production. So, from what we have found, what works is just consistent quality content is always going to be the best thing. So, I don't believe that one thing is going to absolutely make or break your channel. Now, one thing can lead to discovery that can, catapult or sink your channel. Now, you can sink your channel if you don't pay attention to what's going on and what's working and what's not working. But the only way I figured we could test shorts out was by testing it. So last year, that's what we did. We tested it out. And I had planned for 30 days of shorts, one short per day for 30 days, and got to about 22 days and stopped. And the reason I stopped is because I wasn't necessarily pleased with what I saw. And when I say pleased, what didn't happen is what I was, I wasn't sure what was going to happen really is what it came down to. So, but what I noticed was on all the shorts, they would all get, like 1,000 views inside of 1 hour. Basically, they'd go flatline for 1 to 2 hours. Then all of a sudden there'd be this huge spike, 1,000 views in 1 hour, and then complete flatline. It would zero out. So it just, for one thing, it told me, is that really the target audience? Is that who we're trying to reach? Can we really reach 1,000 people looking to move to Dallas or within Dallas within an hour? So I just didn't think, number one, we were hitting our target audience. On top of that, it didn't really relate to anything. We didn't see an uptick in calls. We didn't see an uptick in messages. We didn't see an uptick in subscribers really or anything like that. So as far as I could tell, didn't really affect us negatively or positively. So, but again, I just thought, well, what's the point? And I didn't like how they were getting fed into the videos feed on the channel too. I just felt like they kind of cluttered things up. And again, we always talked about how we know that long form content is really the king, especially the king of conversion. And so I just didn't see it fitting in there. So we stopped, and that was it. Now, what's come out in the last month is, over the last couple of weeks actually, was now I heard that YouTube was doing those updates, and they said that they were, and also here's the thing last year is they made it clear that YouTube Shorts were not really going to be searchable. So they weren't going to show up in search. They were going to just go into the Shorts feed, and the Shorts feed is just, if you were to log into YouTube and click on the Shorts feed, then that's all you're going to see is Shorts. But that, again, to me, that's just random people scrolling, trying to kill time. All right, so I was like, well, if it's not search-based, well, then what's the point? However, we still built utility around it, which means what I focused on the shorts were things to do and places to eat in Dallas. I did a lot of top 10 lists, which was like top 10 barbecue restaurants, top 10 Chinese restaurants, top 10 Mexican restaurants, and then things to do like top 10 museums, top 10 free things to do in Dallas, top 10 museums in Frisco, top 10 things for kids. So the reason we did that too is because if it didn't work out, we wanted to create a utility out of that, which was include those playlists, turn those into playlists of things to do and places to eat in Dallas. And so when we have clients that come from out of town and they're not as familiar with the Dallas area, then we could send them those playlists. And that's what we do in their welcome email when they're coming into town. Is it's like, hey, or whenever they whenever they tell us they're coming to town, we send them an email. The email asks them to send us their flights, their hotel, their dates, and then also when would they like to see properties. Here's the thing, if you have a relocation client visiting, you want to understand when are they available to see properties, because just because they're coming in for 5 days does not mean they want to see properties all 5 days. They may want to hang out with friends or family or explore on their own or do something for 4 of those days, and really they only want to see property for 1 day or 2 days. And so and trust me, we've learned this from experience. You want to be very clear on which days are you available when you're in town to look at properties. So that's part of the email as well. Please let us know the dates and times of your stay that you're available, so that way we can schedule all that out. But then also right below that we would say, and here's some quick tips on things to do and places to eat. So we included 2 hyperlinks, and the things to do would take them to the things to do shorts playlist, and the places to eat would take them to the the places to eat shorts playlist. So even though we stopped after 22 days, we still had like 10 videos of each one of shorts, and it gave them variety. So we had that utility aspect to provide to our clients, especially ones that aren't familiar with Dallas whenever they came into town. Now, once they did this update a couple of weeks ago, I went back and started looking at our shorts, and what I didn't even realize was that we had an extra 5,000 views over the last month from our shorts videos. They had all resurfaced. They had all been flatlined for the last year, and in the last 30 days, if you look at our analytics, the views are at a 45-degree angle trending up. So some of these videos have gotten several hundred, several thousand views just in the last 30 days. And why is that? And whenever I looked at the driver, the number one driver was YouTube search. So now they have made YouTube Shorts searchable. So that is a game changer, and that's what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago. Now where I left off is I was a little torn. I was torn for the fact that they were still in the feed as far as whenever you publish videos, if you have an uploads playlist, or if you click on the videos tab on the YouTube channel, and actually we'll go over this live on screen share tomorrow when we do our YouTube live. That's where we share screens and dig into channels and analytics a little bit more visually. So we do that Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on our YouTube channel, Passive Prospecting. So the thing is that now they have separated shorts and lives. So now if you look at the top of your channel, and if you go to your channel and you don't see it, simply refresh the screen. Even though what's funny is that it must be a cookie or something like that, because I had to go to each individual channel that we have or manage, and even though I would go to it and it still showed the old way, so I had to refresh when I was actually on the actual page. You will see now it'll say home, it'll say videos, it'll say shorts, it'll say live, it'll say community tab, and and then the channels and the about section. So that's pretty significant, because now everything's divided up, and it's the same way on mobile. So now shorts and videos, long form videos, are completely divided on there. So if somebody clicks on the videos tab and they're in the mood for research and long form content, clearly they can go there and watch as much as they want. Or if someone's more interested in the short form content, they can go to the shorts tab and click on that and watch a ton of short form content and sort either by recently uploaded or popular. So to me, this is a complete game changer, because before my philosophy was to separate the channels because of what I saw last year. That was what I would recommend. We had a shorts channel, a separate shorts channel, which, by the way, I think we're about to break 1,000 videos on that shorts channel that we've been publishing. We've been publishing on that shorts channel for the last year, probably 2 to 3 shorts per day, very consistently.
Allow me to take a quick break to remind you that we have very important links in the description below. If you want the full story of how we closed over $1 million in commissions our first year and over $2.3 million in commissions our second year, check out the first link. Also, you have the link to our #1 Amazon best-selling book, Passive Prospecting. Last, if you enjoy this podcast and you're a giving person, leave a 5-star review, please. Now back to the episode.
So we're about to break 1,000, and now I just told the team yesterday, I was like, oh, guess what? We're going to stop publishing to that shorts channel. and our manager was like, great, I just scheduled everything out for the next 2 weeks. So, and that's it. Things change. We have to adapt. We have to adjust. And what I do believe now is that if you want to make short form content, you want to make that on the same channel. Now, I do believe that long form content is still the king of conversion, and that if you really builds the relationship for you and finds people in the shortest time frame that are making a move. Think about it. I don't know a lot of people that make decisions based off of 60-second videos. Not that they haven't done it before, but that's probably not a majority of people. Now also, if you look at our analytics, I'm I'm 43 years old now, so if you look at our analytics of our viewers, remember I've always said like attracts like, and your clients that watch your channel and reach out to you are going to be a lot like you. If you look at our age range, it is and I'll just actually pull up the analytics so I can give you the exact number. Let's see, 29, 30, so 60, 78, almost 80%. 80% of our audience is 25 to 54 years old, which is right in alignment where, I don't hang out with a lot of 25-year-olds, but they, that's the main age range. But still, you could say 30, 50, over 50% is 35 to 55. So over 50% of the viewing audience falls right in alignment, give or take 10 years of my age. So, very, very little on 55 and above, very little on 24 and below. Of course, there's not a lot of 24-year-old and belows buying homes, but again, that's where we relate to those people. So the thing is that, again, like attracts like, and when people are researching and they're looking for information, they're in consumption mode, right? We've talked about 30% of our traffic comes from TV, which is extremely powerful, because if you think about that, that means people are sitting on their couch or maybe even laying in bed, probably with their spouse, watching our videos. Which is pretty cool. And our average view duration is almost 10 minutes. 10 minutes on TV, which tells you, think about it, people are sitting on the couch, and if they're watching real estate videos, they're in some serious research mode, because we're not exactly Chip and Joanna. I don't know if we're that entertaining, especially because I do a lot of stuff solo and I make jokes by myself and crack myself up. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a little entertaining, but again, I'm not exactly Chip and Joanna there, or Flip or Flop, where we argue over every single little thing. And so there's not a lot of drama going on. It's very informational based, and so that tells me that when people are dug in, consuming that long of content, that they're in decision-making process, right? They're thinking about doing something in the real estate space, and our average contact to under contract is 47 days. That's pretty quick. If you could take an average client and say, look, we know we're likely to get them under contract in the next 47 days. That's a very quick turnaround. Whenever somebody reaches out to you, especially somebody you've never met before. But again, what we've always said is that video builds the relationship for you. So when people call in, they've already made the decision that they want to work with you, and so the selling part is really already done by the video. That's what we love so much about video, is it does all of the selling for us. That is passive prospecting. People can watch a video, and they can watch 2 videos and 3 videos and 4 videos, and that's how passive prospecting works. It's prospecting for them each and every time they watch a video. It doesn't mean it's selling them. Now, whenever they call, that's when the decision's been made. So whether they've watched 3 videos or 9 videos or 25 videos, what would be the alternative? The alternative I would collect their information, and I would have to call them 3 times or 9 times or 25 times, or reach out to them or send them something, or provide some sort of value. I would have to try to really build that relationship, either over the phone or in person, or whatever the way that I could best do that, through the mail. That's how I would be doing that if I wasn't doing it through video. But because the video is there, it's constantly prospecting for us. But it's passively prospecting because I'm able to do other things. So that's a power in it. But getting back to the shorts deal, this now I think is opportunity. Now, I don't want people to get too caught up in only making shorts. I still think long form content is the way to go, and is the way to get the clients that you're looking for that are wanting to buy and sell real estate. I think shorts will broaden your audience. I think shorts will attract, can get you some subscribers and get you some views, and it may feel good, which is great. We all like feeling good, but this is what I also want to caution you about, is don't get too caught up in the views and the subscribers that shorts may bring you, because even now with the shorts that we publish on the other channel, we see this time and time again. Now the other thing is we linked that other channel. We linked our channel to the other channel. So the only goal of the shorts channel when we had it separate was to drive traffic to our main channel. And the shorts channel never really grew significantly, and I can only assume that it helped drive traffic, to the main channel because we have it linked there, and that's what our call to actions were really focused on. Plus, we never really grew significantly in subscribers. But if it was our only channel, maybe so, maybe it would have. But if I look at the lifetime view count of our shorts channel, it's almost 324,000 views. So we were able to generate an extra 324,000 views over the last year, and ideally drive that to help drive some of that traffic to the main channel, and that's kind of the goal. That's what we put in the description, which was if you're interested in learning more about Dallas in a more what would you say, complete way or something like that. I'd have to read the exact description, but basically said if you want to learn more about Dallas, then search, find our main channel. So it was really just to try to drive traffic to that. So now with the combination of shorts being able to be separated on the channel, I do think that's a distinct differentiation. But I would caution again against just going all in on shorts as far as that being the primary. If it becomes the primary, and you can do this. Look, anybody can do whatever they want. These are just my thoughts and what I'm considering. Is that one thing you could create a shorts only channel, or you could just focus on short form content. And that way, whatever you make and create, you could easily publish that on shorts. You can publish it on Instagram, TikTok, whatever else is coming up the pipe now. I don't know, Vine may be making a comeback. So, there's going to be these opportunities, but I still believe long form content is the king of conversion. And so that way it's what people are really digging into whenever they're in the decision process. So I think the shorts are a great way to probably allow you to be discovered a lot sooner rather than later. But again, I'm not sure if it'll actually hit the target audience. Now, it may on search, but what will happen is if you end up getting 1,000, 2,000, or 5,000 views on a short, initially, that's probably going to come from the shorts feed. And that's not likely going to be your target audience. And so that may not convert. So from there, you want to just keep that in mind, because that may be exciting, but if the phone doesn't start to ring initially, then I think that's where you really have to focus on good quality, long-form content to back it up, because that's what's really going to get people locked in. And if you get 10,000 views on a short, that may be great, but maybe 10, 20 of them are your target market. And if they find your other videos, your long-form videos, that's going to allow them to sit down and research and get into that ecosystem of your long form videos. And then YouTube will start recommending your long form videos as long as you continually publish those. So I would still make long form the primary focus of a YouTube channel. YouTube is a long form platform, period. That's what it's there for. 70% of the search on YouTube is how to and what does. That's how it starts out. People type in how to or what does. So they're still going there for answers and to get their questions answered and looking for information. And it's still the number two search engine behind Google. And of course, if you Google anything these days, it's going to reflect YouTube videos somewhere on the Google page. So it's going to direct traffic to YouTube as well, because they know that people are making decisions and buying decisions more and more off of video. So those are some things to keep in mind, I would say, as far as just staying up to speed on what's going on. But right now, I'm in favor of including shorts on your channel. I still believe you need to make long form content the primary focus. Let shorts supplement, and you have the opportunity right now. Not only can you make shorts on their own, you can record that content, but YouTube is giving you the option to clip your long form content directly from your phone. As my understanding is you're not able to do that from desktop at this moment. But right now on your phone, once you publish a long form video, you can clip 1 minute clips, up to 1 minute clips directly on your phone. I played around with it last night. Very simple to do. And you can clip from those videos and post those as shorts. And if people are find value in that short, they can click on that and it'll be linked to the long form video. And I think that's something that YouTube is probably going to promote. They'll probably promote those shorts maybe over ones that you just add in there and post. But we'll see. We're going to experiment with both. And whenever I say experiment with both, we're going to post quite a bit. Actually, on Friday, I recorded 60 shorts. I did 60 shorts in about 3 hours. And that'll be content. Now, we're not sure exactly how we're going to publish that just yet. We've been talking about that in our meeting yesterday, our content discussion, that meeting that we have. As far as on Mondays, we always get together and brainstorm on that. We're not sure, do we publish every day we don't publish long form content? Do we publish 5 shorts in one day on a Saturday? 5 shorts one day on a Sunday, and then we publish long form content Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something. So we're still kind of playing around with what's going to be the best publishing schedule on the shorts. I think I'm probably not going to publish on days that I publish long form content. So we're gonna test out both, right? Maybe we'll take 1 week and we'll publish a couple of shorts every day we don't publish long form content, and then the next week we'll wait till the weekend and maybe publish 4 or 5 in one day, kind of spread out throughout the day, and just do some little experimentation. Maybe we'll post some at midnight, some at 2 in the morning. Who knows? We'll see how that works out. But again, I made a lot of those shorts. I stuck with what I did before, which I think a lot of people right now, from what I see, a lot of real estate creators, what I see in the short form space is they are educating people on the buying real estate process, which is great. I don't see anything against that, something that I'm not focused on right at this moment. So again, all the shorts I made was top 10 list. I was like, we're going to see how that works out. Again, the ones we're doing now are searchable and performing well. So we rounded out things to do, places to see, and real estate stats. So instead of talking about buying a home, we did like top 10 neighborhoods for athlete, or top 10 school districts for athletes. Top 10 school districts for music, music, kids in music, or music programs. So we just did a lot of things like that, things that people that are searching for that type of stuff might find that interesting. Oh, hey, we're thinking about moving to Dallas or around Dallas. What's the top, my kids play sports. I wonder what the top high schools are that have sports pro, so that's where we did 3 categories, top 10 list and real estate related. And whenever I did something on like safest neighborhoods or something like that, I did that according to a website. So I just said, according to this website, here's the top 10, safest neighborhoods in Dallas. Or according to this website, here's the top 10 most diverse neighborhoods in Dallas, Texas. So it's not me saying that stuff. I'm just referencing a website or an article or something that brought that up. So if I want to do something like that, because people ask that question all the time, and I know we have to we got to dance around that stuff a little bit as far as fair housing goes. But I can quote another article or say, hey, look, according to this source or that source, here's what they're saying. It's not me, but people search that stuff. People are looking for it, and so I think there's utility in that type of content. So. That's kind of my 30-minute rant. Wow, it's the 30 minutes already. So I'm gonna open it up and say, Chrissy, anything you'd like to add to that? Anything I missed or left out?
Yeah, I would just say overall, there's so many different strategies that shorts are opening up. So I would definitely dive in and just kind of look at your own channel and still approach it the same way that you would with long form. approach it based on what people are searching for. I would definitely be intentional about these, because now that there is so much energy and so much time being put into algorithmic changes that are going into this, I would definitely take time to make a strategy versus just throwing a bunch of material out there. We were talking as a team yesterday, and we're going to be doing some in-depth research about what people are still searching for and kind of time our shorts, especially right now during the holiday season, very strategically. And so I would also consider throwing in some holiday material. It's typically good to be about a month ahead on trends with the short form content, is what we've kind of found. And so as you're kind of planning for the holidays, I would definitely consider, this is the one time we kind of say, okay, go seasonal with some of your stuff, but kind of create a way for that to be able to be timeless in its own way, if that makes sense. We just released a video that was kind of based around Halloween, if you guys were watching on the channel, in the long form space, but it's going to be relevant again next year. And so, Levi's in a Halloween costume, and that's probably the most seasonal it's going to get, with a few little nuggets of information that's super relevant right now, but it will also be relevant next year. So kind of be strategic about it, be very strategic about the shorts that you release, and take some time to plan before you start throwing content out there. And I think you'll be really successful with shorts. There's a lot of time and energy that's gone into some of these changes in the algorithm, so we definitely need to be as strategic and intentional with our own content.
Yeah, great points. And if you're in the audience, then feel free to ask questions in the chat, or we would actually love to have you up on stage to ask your questions personally. I always prefer conversation over reading questions in the chat, but go ahead and throw that in there so we can get to those. My man Matt, I know you're on the phone a little bit there, but did you catch anything? And I know you're always full of good questions, so anything kind of spur a question for you, or any follow-up you might have? Matt LaMarche, and he's gone. All right, so we'll leave it at that. We can leave it at that. And other than that, let me see. I'll check over to the chat real quick and see. We got hey Cindy, how are you? Hey Angela, hello. Hi Krista. Hope you're doing well, Krista. Cindy says, I'm hopping on my BHHS sales meeting. Oh, okay. She's just letting us know what's going on. All right. Well, you go do your thing. What's up, Latoya? How you been doing? Good. Did you have a question or a comment you'd like to throw out there?
I did have a question. Hi there. It's been a while. Yes, I've kind of been looking in the audience more than being online, because it's always loud where I am. But my question was, for those of us who are just beginning our channel, would you change your advice at all on what kind of content we should be posting, considering all the algorithmic changes that we've been talking about? Focus more on shorts, focus on long form. Yeah, that's the question. Would you change how you get started given YouTube's recent changes?
Yeah, so I think if you're starting out, I'm still gonna fall back on the fact that I think long form is the way to go and what you should base your channel off of, at least in the real estate space. I mean, I have seen creators come out with just shorts on YouTube and have blown up. Now they have a much broader audience. You think about Mr. Beast, had very broad audience. I've known different artists. People creating things, doing things that they can do in very short snippets, and I think that has a large, broad audience. I still think for us, we're being very strategic on the audience we want to find and serve, and that is people looking to buy and sell real estate. Now that's niche down, so it's again, I think your shorts are going to get kicked out to a lot of people, not necessarily in the market or not even necessarily considering moving anytime soon, or if they're out of your area, probably never even considering moving to your area. So you can capture a broad audience with your shorts. And again, I think you'll see views and subscribers there that will feel good, but I'm not sure it'll directly correlate into transactions. And our goal has always been to generate transactions. And so I would still base everything. And if you're concerned about time or time management or doing both, what I would recommend is that you still build your channel off of off of long form content and use the clipping tool to clip your shorts out of your long form content. Because think about it, if you make a 10-minute video, you've given yourself the opportunity to make 10 1-minute videos or even 20 30-second videos. You could find those little start and stop points throughout your video, and you could clip out 5, 10, or 15 or 20 shorts out of one 10-minute video. So if you make your long form content first, I think that is what you want to base your channel off of, and it will give you the opportunity to create shorts. If you create shorts from the start, you can't piece those together to make a long form video unless you did that extremely strategically, and I would say that would be way more challenging than the other way around. So I think that on YouTube, at least, you still, and if you're making short form content for the other platforms, as long as it doesn't have TikTok or Instagram logos on it, then you could post that as shorts as well. So I think there's several opportunities, but I would still recommend basing a channel off of long form content, especially since we're in the real estate space. And I think that's where you're going to see the most return of your investment of time.
Great, that answers that perfectly. Thank you so much, Levi.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, looks like Rue just went on the phone. So, Rue. Hey, what's up, Rue? How are you? I don't have any audio for you, Rue. I can't hear you. So maybe we'll come back to Rue. Britt, my man, what's going down, Britt?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good. What you been up to?
Oh, not much. I was just thinking, just today, I was like, man, I have really fallen off the wagon I've gotten so busy with creating videos that I've got to I got to implement batching big time, because I've just, I was trying to do them like one a week, and so I'm committed to doing the batching. But I've got just a technical question. When you do, are you still shooting all your videos in widescreen? And B, are you just clipping out and I know you don't do your editing, but are you just clipping out the shorts format out of the widescreen? Or are you doing both tall video and the wide video?
So I still shoot everything in wide angle, and you can always zoom in. An editor can always zoom in and cut that into a vertical format. I mean, you can always zoom in, so they can always cut off the edges and zoom in to make that. Now we have on the Shorts channel, what we've done is we've only clipped from our long form content because it wasn't a focus of mine, and therefore I didn't want to spend time making that content, which I'm glad I didn't now, because now, as I mentioned on Friday, I filmed 60 vertical short form content specifically for shorts, so therefore I was strategic about it. We changed up the looks, changed up the backgrounds, changed up the shirts, all that stuff, and did that purposefully because this is going on the main channel. I want to make sure that it is quality, effective, and strategic. The Shorts channel that we created last year was really just kind of it was just there to direct traffic and try to capture any short form audience we could and direct them to the main channel. So we didn't put a lot of effort into it. It was literally just, okay, go to the long form videos, clip out some stuff. But the thing is if you use the clipping tool on the cell phone now, it's going to convert it into a vertical format, and so again, it's going to zoom in. Now any editor can do that as well. So yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to include this on the same channel on YouTube, you want to be strategic about it. If you're filming content for it, or you're going to clip it from and if you clip it from your videos, then yeah, an editor can still do that. You can do it from the phone, or an editor can do that as well and just zoom in on it. So there's 3 different ways you could do that. Does that make sense?
Cool. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I heard you say I think I heard you say in one of the rooms this morning that you did I think you did a short on top 10 places to eat or something like that. So those are just pretty quick, you're not really going into detail on those. You're just, because you've only got 60 seconds, so I guess 6 seconds per deal.
No, yeah. I mean, if I say top 10 barbecue restaurants, I'll just say number 10, Terry Black's. Number 9, Pecan Lodge.
Oh, I gotcha.
And now what the editors will do is they're going to throw up the best picture of barbecue from Pecan Lodge, from Terry Black's, from Hutchins Barbecue, and so they'll just throw up a really nice picture or B-roll over me reading the list. So it's not me just sitting there reading a list to you. We want to give that visual, and then people are going to know after that first one or second one, they're going to see different pictures, and then it counts down as well. So if they're like, oh, that's number 10, well, it's number 9, well, I wonder what number 1 is. So yeah, all that was intentional why we did that, and so that's what we did.
No, that's cool, and I think that gives some, like, those are pretty easy shorts that you can specifically do for shorts. I mean, those are that alone, just the top 10 stuff, top 10 and whatever it is in your city, or top 5 or whatever. Those are pretty easy shorts that probably anybody can do.
Oh yeah, they could, because here's the funny thing about it is that they were all done in pretty much one take, because I would just open it up and say. It was funny. I'd be like, hey, do you got a sweet tooth? Well, here's the top 10 cake shops in Dallas, Texas. So I just kind of opened it up that way, and I was looking at the camera, and then I looked down, and I just read my list, because I'm not going to be on camera after that point. So if you understand how you're going to edit and do that sort of thing, then I don't have to be perfect, and I can just read from a list, no problem. So I would just read from the list, looking down, and the editor will just add everything over it. So really the clip is just me for the first 3 to 5 seconds stating what it is, and it's going to be very simple. I mean, it's very similar if you go back and, well, now you can go to our channel and look at the shorts tab and see what we did a year ago. You'll see the similarities, but this time it's definitely stepped up, because I did use our videographer on this one. Last time I did everything on an iPhone, but if you look at all my shorts from last year, you'll see that they're all done on an iPhone. So they can be done on an iPhone, they can be done with a videographer, they can be done in your home office, in your office. I mean, you can do all different types of things. So yeah, again, just compile the data and take an afternoon, and you can knock it out. And like I said, we did 60 within 3 hours. So very short and sweet. And that, if we publish 2 a day, that's a month's worth of shorts content right there. I don't think we're going to publish 2 a day. So really, we probably have, let's say, 45 days worth of content. But how do you think I feel taking 3 hours, knocking out 45 days worth of short form content? I feel pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because that's probably the toughest part for any of us, really, is just the time. But you've done a good job of, setting the example of, what bashing content can do.
Yes, sir. Anything else we can help you out with?
No, man, you answered the other question a pretty burning question I've had about the fair housing and, the top 10 best neighborhoods and everything. I approached it. I did one of like top 5, but I just approached it based on like sales volume or like amenities, but no, I like your idea, because then it just puts the burden off on somebody else. So I definitely like, according to this article, these are the safest, or whatever.
Yep, there you go. Rue, are you back? Are you back with us, Rue?
Yes. Oh my God, I was sucked up. World. At least I think I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think we got you loud and clear now.
Awesome. I was sad. I thought maybe you answered it while I was in the cyber world and I didn't hear the answer. My question was, as far as shorts go, I mean, what's a good length for a short? Is there a max? Is there a minimum? What should we look at?
Yes.
You're good.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, clearly the max is 60 seconds, but I would do the short needs to be as long as the short needs to be. After on recording 60 of them, I think we had some that were 15 seconds, some were 30, some were 45, some were 36, some were 48, some, just depending on what we did with it. So that's something, I don't know. I mean, I think you can experiment around with it as you start to publish and you get more of a library. You're going to be able to go back and sort by popular on your own channel. So that's something that I would look at after you've done 10, 20, 30, 40 shorts, to look at, sort them by the most popular, and then go back and say, okay, is there any commonalities in the top 5, the top 10? Are these the same length? Is there audio, trending audio, or no audio? Or what was the subject matter? Are people liking this topic over that topic? So I think that's just kind of easier to tell for your own channel once you have more of a library built up. But otherwise, yes. They should be every length. They need to be as long as they need to be. So don't talk just to keep talking and to fluff it up or add time, but also give the amount of information that's needed to complete the thought process. And so that's just something that I would focus on creating the content and then determining what do you think is really working well for your channel.
Okay, and then I know as far as like intros and outros, do you include that in a short or no?
I think with shorts and short form content, the best practice is to really to get into it. As far as within the first 3 to 5 seconds, it's what are you getting? Which is, I just started off with, here's the top 10 barbecue restaurants. Now, once I got through about 20, I started kind of getting bored with that myself, and then I started adding in something else. And what I'm going to start doing on the next round is, I remembered a joke my dad told me. So I had a short for the top 10 donut restaurants, and my dad told me this joke. So I started the reel off with a joke, or the short with a joke, and I said, you want to know what my dad said whenever I gave him a box of donut holes? He said, thanks for nothing. Now here's the top 10 donut restaurants in Dallas, Texas. So that, and then I started to do that more with the reels, as far as a little opening liner, like a one-liner, like a little a joke or something. I think I said are you feeling bubbly today? Well, here's the top 10 bubbly or bubble tea restaurants in Dallas, Texas. So I just kind of started to change it up a little bit, but I think no intro. There's not, hey, my name is Levi Lascsak. I'm a real estate agent in Dallas, Texas. And if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, then make sure you give me a call. By the way, here's the top 10. I definitely would not do anything like that at all. So I would just get straight to the point. At the end, I did say, like and subscribe if you want to learn all about living in Dallas, Texas. That's how I ended it up. Now, what other people will say is that you need to have a hard stop so that the video loops, which means if you have a hard stop, it'll start back over again, and most of the time people won't even notice it started over again until they're 10-15% in the video again, which can give you an average view duration of 110% or 115%. So that's another way to do it, and I might try that on the next round. But here I just thought I'm gonna end it with just a very simple, hey, like and subscribe if you want to learn all about living in Dallas, Texas. Because again, if it starts hitting the right people and they say, yeah, you know what, I do want to learn about living in Dallas, Texas, those are the likes and the subscribers that I'm looking for. So it's one of those things. So you can, I think both methods, the super viral videos, I don't know if, if we start getting into humor and things like that, I don't know, that I like to have fun. I think that's a whole different creative process as well, but I'm just going to stick to this, and I'll experiment and do things differently. And I'm not married to one particular strategy. I'm married to what works, and I'm unmarried to what doesn't work. So I'm very adaptable, and I think it just comes down to really, just giving it all a try, giving it the old batter swing, and that's it. And then we go from there. I always start out with intentionality and strategy, but results can prove otherwise, and they can either prove me right or prove me wrong. And so, and I'm okay with either. And so I'm good with that. So I think it's just a matter of, getting started, staying consistent, looking at what's working, what's not working, and making adjustments.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Mia, how are you? Mama Mia.
How are you?
Good. How have you been?
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I've been good. I've been shooting video. My question to you is on YouTube. Maybe I'll get 6 views, maybe I'll get 20 views, but when I do these, what do you call it? These how-to with holiday things, and I can relate them back to real estate, basically, but I get a ton of views on that, and I don't know, should I just, and I can get like 12 things, 1, 2, like every month. I've got them already done because they're done, and start another channel, or how can I like incorporate these into I'm selling real estate? I don't want to get too far, but I have a hard time when it comes to content on YouTube.
So the videos you're making right now are things like that, like how to do this or that?
No, I've been doing like the only thing I'm real consistent with is my update, my weekly update. And so I think I have to put some more meat into that. And like on Instagram or TikTok, they bring a ton of views. On YouTube, they bring 6. So, but when I did a YouTube on, I don't know, gifts that closing, it got like 1,800 views. That's a big difference. And I want to know, is there a way I can tie it back to real estate? Or should I just start, and it's not that it's going to be that much more because these are already done. Just open another channel and say, if you want to know how to do that, or you're looking to sell your home but need curb appeal, things like that. Or just kind of deviate and try to make people see, my real estate. Does that make sense, or am I confusing you?
Well, I think now with the update on shorts and long form that I wouldn't focus on creating a second channel. I mean, I would focus on incorporating what you're doing, and then it really comes down to your calls to action. I think in your long form content, or even on your banner. I mean, if you're trying to provide value, think about the content you're trying to provide. Now, this is something that you have to determine up front, which is, what's the content I'm going to provide, which is, ours is, if you look at our channel and look at our banner, it says subscribe to learn about living in Dallas, Texas. So our main goal is to educate people about our city. And we know that Dallas, Texas is extremely searchable, and that's what people are looking for. And so that's why we put Dallas, Texas ahead of us. It's like we're branding the city over ourselves because we're trying to provide value-based content first. And what happens is people understand when they watch enough of the content that we're real estate agents. But we know that because we mention that. And well, I don't even say I'm a real estate agent. I'm just saying if you're looking to make a move, we'd be happy to help you make a move. So maybe I should say I'm a real estate agent in there. That's something else. But I just say, look, and people get the picture. They get the idea. So I think about the content you're making. If you're doing weekly reports, that can be a part of what you're doing, but also what can you show people around your town and around your city. And I know that's what people are typically researching on YouTube. They're not really on YouTube looking for best real estate agent or best realtor. That's something they might Google, and they might Google, but that's probably not going to pull up a bunch of YouTube videos either. But you want to think about providing value up front. So like you said, that top 10 or gift ideas or whatever it is you did, that was value provided to somebody. Now, is that real estate related? Then that's what you have to ask yourself. And so I would be cautious about creating too much content that's not particularly about your city or your area of your suburb, if that's where you want to direct people. But, if you throw a couple of personal things in there here and there, probably not going to kill anything, but also I wouldn't even do that until later on down the channel. I mean, I think you just really want to determine the value you want to provide and the content you want to create, and try to think about things that you do know. Mia, think about your city. Okay, so you have one video a week already for the weekly report. Now, is there 2 other videos per week that you could do? Could you talk about a different suburb? So maybe, suburb highlight of the week. And then maybe the other video is neighborhood. Neighborhoods are different than suburbs, right? You can have a suburb, but maybe you have 50 neighborhoods inside a suburb. So, you could do your weekly report, suburb of the week, and neighborhood of the week. And you could highlight, and if you know those areas like the back of your hand, which I'm sure you do, then, you need a couple of notes, a couple of bullet points, and you'd be ready to go. And then you're creating 3 pieces of long form content per week, for your channel. And then all the short stuff, if you want to incorporate that, can either come from that, or you can create some separate short stuff, like your, top 10 gift ideas, or, top 10 things to do at the beach, or top 10 things to do in Florida, top 10 things to do at Disney World, things like that. And that's overall going to provide value, and people will find out and figure out that you're an agent. And the ones that are, want to work with you will give you a call. Does that help out?
Yes, that gives me a lot of food for thought. I appreciate it, and thank you very, very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hey, Levi, I had a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so we actually met in Nashville earlier in the year when you stood up at the Tom Ferry Blueprint event. And so that's how I got to know you, and just so I really appreciate all your content.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. My question is just specifically with respect to shorts. How would you sort of advise an agent who is a sole agent, is sort of doing ideation, scripting, filming, and all that stuff on their own? How would you recommend balancing the tension between, the real estate market's not as busy obviously as it was. Would you recommend learning, Adobe Premiere or Final Cut, doing our own editing? How much time should we be spending on that piece? It sort of feels like there's a tension. The more time you spend on producing and post-production, the less you're just going to do naturally, because it's just, you're sort of putting on more hurdles for yourself. So how should we approach that?
Yeah, great question, David. I don't recommend editing or post-production at all whatsoever. I don't think it's the best use of an agent's time unless it is your art and craft. Now, I only know of one agent that is a master editor and creates pretty awesome videos, but that's about it. And his skill is, and I also asked him, how long does it take him to edit one real estate video, and he said a minimum of 24 hours. So, he has a lot of post-production, and I'm talking about 24 hours. He doesn't mean like a day. He means actual 24 hours to edit a video on minimum. So I don't recommend that at all whatsoever, unless that's your art, because learning editing, if you're not interested in it, first of all, it's going to tear you apart. Second of all, it's, learning it now while you're trying to, especially if you're running a solo business, it's just going to eat up all your time as well. And you could easily make 5 or 6 videos possibly in the time you try to get one video done. So it would, I just really believe you should be focused on creating content, and then subbing out your editing. And then if you're building up your content right now and that's not producing business immediately, which it does take time to build up video content, then you should be focused on what other way are you going to earn business right now. For us, what we always recommend with our agents that are starting out or making a transition or something like that is really something as simple as open houses. I mean, open houses is the quickest way, and a way that you can take a couple of hours on a weekend if you do it strategically. Now, I'm not talking about just going to an open house and sitting there for 2 hours. I'm talking about being very strategic and intentional about the open house as well. It's the quickest way you'll find. I mean, you could go out this weekend and find somebody probably in the market right now without representation and, looking to make a move in the next 30, 60 days. It's a quick way to turn that over. And so if you are trying to, and I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying in general, if someone's trying to generate business right now, I would focus on every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I'd be doing, 2 open houses each day. And then during the week, Monday through Friday, I'd be working on content. I'd be following up. First of all, Monday would be like follow up with all the people I met on the open house. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or something, I'd be creating content, making videos, doing this and that. And then maybe Friday is Friday is what you do, what you need to do. But then going through that type of cycle or that type of process. So and then also if you're solo, it just depends. If you start to get overwhelmed with leads that come in from the content, then you've got to start working on either finding a very solid referral agent, maybe bringing on a buyer's agent, or doing something else to where you can outsource that as well if you start to get too busy with it. But in the meantime, no. I mean, editing I think is something that you should shop out from the beginning. And if you click on the link above and go to our website, you're more than welcome to look at, we do offer some video editing. And so you can check that out. You can schedule a call with the team as well if you want to talk through that with them. So it's a great alternative to have that done for you so that you can focus on more revenue generating activities. Does that make sense?
It does. Thanks, Levi. I'll definitely check that out. And yeah, I've actually, you may not remember from that particular conference. It sounds like you're going to a lot of them, but I just made a move from DC to Nashville, in which Tom had me stand up and tell the whole crowd about him in the city. And so, I've been trying to do open houses and stuff like that just to get out there a little more. But I appreciate all that, and I'll definitely check out. You said it's a link in your bio here on Clubhouse?
It's up at the top. Yeah, if you look at the top of the room above our heads, you should be able to click on the link. But it's just
that's it.
Yeah, passiveprospecting.com. You can go there. Yep.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Tim, what's up, my man? Haven't talked to you in a while either. Are you there?
Hey, I was just looking at the link. Just 2 quick questions. I'm real close to going down the YouTube rabbit hole. I see a lot of people here in my market they seem to promote their lives quite a bit on YouTube. Do you need a certain number of followers to go live on YouTube?
Chrissy, do you know the answer to that? I'm not sure if you need a certain number. I know that I know you have to apply for it. I'm not sure if there's a prerequisite. I think you have to apply and wait for like 24 to 48 hours before they approve it. I think they just do a quick check on your channel and make sure you're not crazy, and then you can do that as far as I know.
Yeah, and then how does the AdSense part of it work? Do you even worry about that? I mean, obviously you got to get content up first, but I'm just curious if, have you found any value in the revenue stream of YouTube?
Well, just, of course, I love free money. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to take free money, but it's not a primary focus for our channel. Our primary focus is making the phone ring. So, the AdSense won't come until you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So that takes a little bit to build up, but you can do that. And I think we did that within 4 or 5 months. But I mean, we consistently earn about $500 to $800 a month right now. It's not, I mean, it pays a couple of bills. It's nothing that's going to retire me. You have to really be in the millions of views, hundreds, high hundreds of thousands, millions of views to really turn that into a monetization income that you could, really write home about. So, for us, the thing is that we can sell $1 million property and make 30 grand. And that's what we're focused on, So the little AdSense that we get from the channel is really, like I said, it pays a couple of bills, and we're happy to have it. I'm definitely not going to turn it down, but nowhere near a focus of ours.
Yeah, my route is really going to be a little bit more podcast stylish. There will be some on-location stuff. The hardest part was trying to figure out a name, which I finally landed on and bought the URL. So it's going to be called Phoenix Show and Tell. And as as a lender, I don't have quite as many shiny objects to show off, although I do intend to do some of that. But I really want it to be kind of I want it to be really the way it made in how I kind of live and operate, which is family, work, and then my community work. And so I really want to tell stories of not just the market stats, but the people behind Phoenix that really drive and make up what Phoenix is becoming. So that's kind of the thought process. And then obviously I've got a whole bunch of short content I can transfer over as the channel gets going. But that's really kind of my plan with where I'm going with it.
All right, cool. Looking forward to it. I like that. It's kind of a catchy name, Phoenix Show and Tell. So be interested to see how that plays out. But I know it will work as long as you stay consistent.
Yeah, in Clubhouse and some of the things that I've listened to, it sounds like YouTube is going to push the podcast style content next year. That's something that's in their focus, and so off the bat, I think that's going to be a majority of it. I'll certainly, with the media agency that's producing it, I'm connected to with one of the foundations I just became a board member on. And so the plan is, to keep the cost down is to, as we have events within the foundation where they're already going to be producing content, then I can tie in doing some of the show part of the show and tell, and show off some of the venues and people at the places that we're holding venues as a small business, etc. So that it keeps the cost down, highlights small business and nonprofits that we work with, and puts some of the show into the show and tell part there.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up a point there about podcasts. That's something else that I heard YouTube is going to be possibly releasing very soon, is they might have a podcast tab on there as well, along with shorts and live and videos. So that's something that I believe they're going to be moving into as well, is hosting video podcast, and that's going to be interesting. So that's something that we're doing, especially for the passive prospecting channel. That's why even right now this is being recorded on video, which will go there. Of course, the audio gets cut for our podcast, so it's there. So again, it's just ways to repurpose all your content and allow it to work for you, instead of working for the content. So appreciate that. Thanks for sharing that with us. And we're a little bit over today. I mean, not that we really have time limits anyways, but always like to be respectful of people's time for hanging out. Appreciate you all. If there's no last minute questions, then
I have one last minute question.
All right, what you got, Latoya?
Just going back to what you were saying about your shorts and your top 10, I really like that idea, and I'm totally going to steal it, so thank you. But I've always wondered about, like you said, that your editor just throws up pictures from those different restaurants. Is there any kind of permission required for that? Are you able to just screenshot their menu pictures from their websites to put on your videos, or do we need to talk to the restaurant before we do that, so that we're not, crossing any lines as far as, I don't know, property or whatever? I have no idea what I would even be asking them for. But yeah, just basically, are you asking permission before you use their websites? And are you, when you make your top 10 list, is it a personal list? Is it you've just, taken an article that talked about a top 10 list and just read that, or curate your own? I hope that makes sense, but that's my question.
Yep. Yeah, two things. So we always provide source credit, so you can pull pictures from websites or Google or things like that. I mean, if you pull it from Google, the chances are that somebody finds that and says, hey, that's my exact picture from Google. You have to take down. I mean, that is very, very, very slim. But at the same time, it's very simple to, you'll see a lot of the videos that we have if we put up a picture in the bottom right corner. Most of you have probably never even noticed this, but we'll put source credit, which is where we found the picture from. So that's usually what people are concerned about is source credit, and we've never had a single issue at all whatsoever. And if you want some top 10 list, there's a really good, Yelp. Yelp is a good place, has a lot of top 10. So yeah, you can find websites, articles, blogs. I mean, you could probably Google top 10, all kinds of stuff, and find all kinds of lists. But also you could go on Yelp, and Yelp has a lot of stuff ranked top 10, and so you could pull stuff from there too.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, guys, well, we'll close it out for today. Thank you for joining us. And again, this is YouTube for Real Estate, and appreciate the conversation. Thank you for joining in and contributing. We really appreciate that. Keeps it interesting for us, and that way I don't have to listen to myself yap the whole time. That's good. So thanks. Hope you guys found value. If you did, make sure you rate and review the podcast. So find our podcast, YouTube for Real Estate, and then rate and review. That would be awesome. We would really appreciate that. Have a great day.
Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. If you're interested in partnering with us to access our YouTube course and coaching at no cost, schedule a call at passiveprospectingpartner.com.